Wonderful, warmest greetings to everyone who has tuned in. Welcome to the lesson of Microsoft Office, more in particular the one of Microsoft Word processing. Now, this is a platform that we use for editing documents, be it typing your CV, be it typing your assignments if you are still a student. A whole lot of things that we can actually do with the Microsoft Word processing. Now, this class is actually meant for people who aren't that much advanced when it comes to Microsoft Word processing, but even though you do know something about Microsoft Word processing, stay tuned. You might catch one or two few things which you weren't aware of. Now, we are going to start with the very first basics. Now, I am going to begin explaining what is displayed on the current window which you are seeing. Now let's start here. You see the very first part here that's colored in red where it's written document 2. Now we call this a status bar. The reason why it's written document 2 is because I had opened another document, the very first document. Now it will be written document 1. If I was to reopen, or rather open the third document, now it will be written document 3. Right, now this is of course what the status bar, it tells us the name of the current document we are on, or the current document which we have opened, in my case, which is document 2. Now when we move on from the status bar, we go to the ribbon. Now you see this part right here, you see where my mouse is moving, we call this the ribbon. Now if on my keyboard I am to press Ctrl without letting it go, and also press F1, Ctrl F1, the functions F1, what I have done rather is that I have closed my ribbon. If I'm to perform the very same action of Ctrl F1, what I did is that I brought back the ribbon. Now the ribbon is important since it holds the groups. Those groups have commands, and then those commands perform certain functions for us to be able to complete our task. Now on the right side of the status bar, we have what we call the quick access toolbar. If I bring my mouse here, you see this drop down arrow, the drop down box. When you hover your mouse around anything, or rather on any command on the window, it will tell you what that particular command is meant for. Now where my current mouse cursor has pointed, it tells me that this is our customize quick access toolbar. Now this helps us in actually ticking the things that we are dealing with the most. You'll notice that the save has been ticked, and then we have the save here. This is the save. We also have the undo and then the redo. We also have them here. This is the undo and then this is the redo. If I am to click the draw table, the command for draw table is now going to be on the quick access toolbar. If I'm to click email, it is going to be on the quick access toolbar. Same goes with the other ones. Now the reason why we have the quick access toolbar is just basically to access our commands quickly. Self-explanatory, right? Very much easy. Now let's do that practically. Let me start first by ticking this one. You'll notice that now this one is the command for what? Open. If you desire to open a certain file in your computer, and then you will click this command. You click on the quick access toolbar and then you click on draw table. You'll notice that on the quick access toolbar now we have the command for for drawing a table, right? And then you click on the quick access toolbar again, but then notice that when you click on the quick access toolbar, you are presented with this pop-up window. I normally call it a pop-up window. that has more options and more commands, but check that there are only a few commands that are on this current pop-up window which we can add here on the quick access toolbar. But what if in your case you want more of the commands? So you see where it's written more commands, you click here on more commands, and then as it's busy loading, now you'll be presented with this pop-up window again. Now we have the left navigation panel, we have this middle one, navigation panel, and we also have this one. Now let's talk about the one that's on the right, this panel. These options that are on the right, they are the commands which are found on the quick access toolbar. If we take a quick look here on the save, undo, redo, open, and draw a table, notice that we have them on the quick access toolbar. Hence, automatically that tells us that these commands here in the middle navigation panel aren't found on the quick access toolbar. But what if I desire to add the command, for example, let's say for bullets, right? So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to click on bullets. After I click on bullets, and then this option here for add, the moment when I click add, it's going to be found in this right panel. Now I click on add, notice that it's there, but it's not yet added on the quick access toolbar, because we have to say what we have to come here and then say okay. The moment when I say okay, now notice that there is a command for bullets on the quick access toolbar. So depending on what kind of command you desire to put on your quick access toolbar, you just do the very same action. You click on the drop down box, and then you go scroll down to where it's written more commands, and then you'll be presented with this window. It is very much essential, right? And then if you use the vertical scroll bar, you can see other more options of the commands which you can add on the quick access toolbar. But before I close this window, I want to quickly talk about this save option. For now, we will explore the other options as we dwell into greater details regarding our class. Now, this option for save, I normally use it, and I set my computer that it should save auto recovery information every 1 minute. Now, this option is very much important when you are dealing with highly sensitive information, or the fact that you'll be typing your assignments, or you'll be at work given a certain task to complete, and then somehow electricity out of the blue cuts. So the fact that you allowed, or rather you have configured your save auto recovery information for every 1 minute, now it allows you not to lose your work. All right, now we say okay. Now we move on to the formatting font tools. Now formatting font tools. Now the formatting font tools happens to be a group. This is the group for font. Now before I go to group, let me talk about the tabs. If I say Control F1, I have closed my ribbon and I have remained with the quick access toolbar and also the status bar and what we call the tabs: File, Home, Insert, Design, Page Layout, Reference, Mailings, Review, and View. We call all this under one umbrella name as tabs. Now if I double click here, I bring back my ribbon. Now each tab contains groups. These groups contain commands, and then these commands perform certain functions. The current active tab is the one of Home, and then it has about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups. The first group, which is the one we're about to dwell in, which is called the formatting tools font group. It is the font group. Now this group here contain commands for formatting. Now when I say formatting, I'm referring to changing the font style, changing the font color, changing the font size. If you want to bold, underline, or italize your word, or give your words colors, we refer to that as formatting. So in this class I will be using the word formatting one too many times, so please be not confused as I use the word formatting. So this is the group of font. Basically here are the font tools or the font commands. Now this portion here actually is the font size, and then this is the font style. If you click on the drop down box, you'll notice that there are a whole lot of font style which one can actually choose from, but then the one by default is either Calibri Light or Calibri Body, but I normally like to use the one for Calibri Light because it is very much convenient. Now we are going to move on to drawing shapes. You might want to draw a shape in this particular case. So wanting to draw a shape, it means that you have to insert the shape. You have to put in that particular shape. So we are going to go to the tab of insert. When we are on insert, we go in the group of illustrations. Now when you are on the group of illustrations, you click on shapes, and then the moment when you click on shapes, these shapes are categorized. The first category is recently used shapes. These are the ones that I have been using. And then we have the category of lines. Here are shapes that are lined up in different shapes. We also have the category for rectangles, and then this is the part. We also have basic shapes until the last one of what call out. But normally call outs, we use them for mental kind of thinking, for lack of a better explanation. Or rather, let me give the example. You see comics, the comic book that we used to read as children. I sometimes still read comic books. It's very fun. But my point here is comic books, when they have drawn those cartoons and they somehow show a conversation, so it starts from the head and then going to the outer part, and then inside all this there will be written information. Now they use call outs for that particular conversation between cartoons. So if you want to insert shapes, this will be the portion for inserting shapes. So what we are doing now, we're just exploring the tabs. So from here we move to the next tab, which is the design. Design has to do with changing the page color. If I click on page color and then I hover my mouse around these colors, you'll notice that the page color is now changing. And then this portion here of the command for page color is categorized. There are theme colors and there are also standard colors. We also have page borders. Now the moment when you click on page borders, you'll be presented with this window that straight goes to the tab of page border. So when you're on the page border, there are settings of the borders. Do you want to be none? Do you want the box? Do you want the shadow? Do you want 3D? Do you want custom? But another thing is that there's also style. So these styles that you choose, they are going to be shown depending on which border you choose. If it's a 3D and then I chose the first style, it's going to be giving this thin line. But if you use the vertical scroll bar, scroll down, if I choose a thick one, and then notice that the moment when I choose a thick one in my preview section, it's now showing how the document is going to be the moment when I click on OK. Now where it says apply to, if you don't want it to apply to the whole document, you can just click on the drop down box. You say this section or the first page only, so on and so forth, right? And then you can also choose a color for this style. You can also choose a width in terms of points, and you can also choose an art. So if you don't want this style, you can choose an art. Now there are so many different arts to choose from, so normally I go for the ones that look proper and professional, because these other ones, they just stylish. All right, and then from there, then you click OK. Then the moment when I click OK, notice that now there is a page border. Let's also change the page color. Yes, and I put my page color as indicated. All right, now let's move to the tab of page layout. Now these tabs happen to be self-explanatory. Page layout, meaning that it's basically the layout of the page. Now this one has only 3 groups. The first group is for page setup, paragraph, and then arrange. We go to references. Basically, let's skip these 2 for now. We shall explore them later on. Let's skip the tab of reference and mailings. Now let's go to review. And here, this one has to do, let's say you have a 500-page document, and then that happens to be your assignment or business plan or any other document. So on the first group, this one is for proving. So then this one helps in checking the spelling and grammar, hence it's self-explanatory. It checks all those. And then if we can go to the tab of view. Now when we are on the tab of view, we also find certain groups. Now you still remember back in elementary or primary school that we'd have what we call a drawing book. So it helps us in terms of having to place our shapes correctly, more especially if we are playing around with shapes. Now under the group of show, where it's written grid lines, when you click on grid lines, notice that there are grid lines that come into play on your Word document. So you play around with it, adding shapes, and when you're done with it, you go back and then you untick the grid lines. So anyhow, that's all for today. See you in the next lesson. Ciao, ciao.